Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video, and today we're doing your hot takes for the 2025 NBA season. I recently gave my full predictions. If you want to see that, it's the video right before this on the channel. And now I want to hear some of yours, specifically your bold ones. So as usual, went to Twitter and asked for your hottest, boldest predictions going into the 2025 NBA season, which is only 2 days from now. We're basically there. NBA basketball is about back. So let's look at some of these predictions. Also out there, if one of yours isn't featured in this video, you can follow me on Twitter for the chance to have one in a future video. And I want to hear your hot takes down below in the comments. And which of these do you think has the most likely chance of happening? Leave a like and subscribe as usual. Let's get into the takes. First one comes from Gio, who says that Maxey's going to average more points than Joel Embiid this year. I told you, we're going bold. Embiid was averaging 36 points per game before he got injured last season, ended up averaging right around 34. Maxey was in the mid-20s. I could see it being a closer gap between the two because I do expect Embiid to take a little bit more of a backseat now that PG is in town, and with Maxey getting better and better. Plus, they want to keep him healthy. They already said he's not going to play any back-to-backs. So I imagine they also try to have him take a little bit of a load off on that offensive end. So I do think the gap's going to be closer, but I'd be stunned if this happened. I could see Maxey averaging like 26 and Embiid averaging like 29 or something like that. But in my honest opinion, I still think Embiid is going to average 30, maybe even close to 32. I know Paul George is coming into town, but I don't think he's going to take that many shots away. When you have a force as dominant as Embiid, you want to get him the ball, and with having more weapons around, he's going to face more one-on-one matchups. He's not going to be doubled as much. So yeah, I don't think this is going to happen, but I do expect Maxey to have a big season, and I think there's a real chance he ends up on All-NBA third team this year. Next hit comes from my guy Devin. Shout out to Devin. I think the Warriors are going to be a lot better than people think, and they will finish top 4 in the West. I've seen a few people have this sentiment, mainly Warriors fans. As I said in my season prediction video, which if you haven't watched it, this is a spoiler, I have the Warriors finishing pretty low in the standings. I think I had them at 12. The Clippers also recently received some news that Kawhi Leonard isn't going to play to start the season, so maybe I can move the Warriors up to 11 and Clippers down to 12. Those two teams are right next to each other, but I don't think the Warriors are going to be very good. I like some of the moves that they made, but I don't think it's enough to catch up to the just better teams in the Western Conference. Steph is still really good, but he's not quite as dominant as he used to be. I think we see some regression from Draymond, and while there are a lot of young guys that could pop off, I don't think any of them are going to do enough to, again, bridge the gap in just overall talent between them and the teams ahead of them. So I don't think this is going to happen. I think there is a scenario where they end up as like maybe a top 6, top 7 seed. If Steph is really going off, if they get multiple big jumps from their young players, if you keep like a D'Anthony Melton on the court consistently, if you're able to get some production back from Kevon Looney, who was rough last year, if Wiggins bounces back, if Buddy Hield can be effective for more than a few months, then yeah, I think there is a chance where everything really goes their way and they end up as maybe a top 6 seed, but I think it would take a lot. Top 4 feels very out of my reach, or out of their reach rather. So yeah, I'm not with this. There is a range for the Warriors though. When you're taking a look at a talent like Steph Curry all time, you got to give them at least a little bit of leeway to surprise you. Next hit comes from Claw World, who says that the Magic are the 3rd best team in the East behind the Knicks and Celtics and could easily finish 2nd in the conference. They're young, incredible defensively, now have playoff experience and KCP. Yeah, the Magic are one of the teams I really struggled to put in the standings. In my season prediction video, I had them at 7th, and I said in the video, and I continue to think it, I hate that spot because it feels like the Magic have the chance to be that Thunder pop-off team this season. I mean, they were already a 5 seed last year, so it wouldn't be like the Thunder going from the play-in to the 1 seed, but I do think there's a world where they take a similar jump and are a 1 or 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. They spent a lot of last year around that range. Now, it didn't last till the end of the year. They had some ups and downs. The offense is rough, but I think if Paolo takes a jump and Franz just finds that 3-point shot again, even just a little bit, KCP is continuing to play the way he has all throughout like the past 5 or 6 years. Jalen Suggs gives you more and more production, like especially with Jonathan Isaac now, hopefully playing more time this season. The defense is going to be insane. I think the offense could be a lot better. If you told me at the end of the season the Magic win a playoff series and they're in the 2nd round, I'm not surprised at all. I think that's very attainable. And if you told me they ended up as a 3 or 2 seed in the East, probably not the 1 seed, I'd be shocked by that. But 3 or 2, I'm not that surprised. When you have these young teams that, again, the incredible defense that Claw World mentioned in their tweet and what I was just talking about, it gives you a floor where, sure, you're going to struggle some nights to score at all, but you're always going to clamp up opposing teams unless they get really hot. You're rarely going to get blown out of the building. You're always going to give yourself a chance. They've got high-level young talent that could take jumps. So, I mean, if by the end of the season we look at the Magic and say, this is the 3rd best team in the East, sure, I could definitely see it. I think Philly is probably in that spot if you ask me. but the Magic have the chance to make that argument, and that's crazy when you talk about where they are in this point in the rebuild. It feels like they shouldn't be that good yet, but they are. They've executed this thing flawlessly. Next hit comes from Morgan, who says that the Spurs are going to make the playoffs and Wemby makes an All-NBA team, and we also got one in a similar vein from Spurs Alien, who says that the Spurs are going to upset the Thunder in the first round of the playoffs. Spurs Alien, if that happens, I'll give you my channel. Just hit me up if it does. And then for Morgan's tweet, I am pumping the brakes a little bit on the Spurs. I've seen some people, shout out to my guy Jack, who is over with me at Snapback Sports. He's been telling me like, hey, could the Spurs make the playoffs? I see it a little bit. They just don't have enough right now. Defensively, I think they could be really good with Wemby there, but I mean, even last year, Wemby was insane and they were one of the worst defenses in the league. He didn't do enough for them. I mean, he did everything, but the talent around him was nowhere near enough to elevate that defense. Offensively, I think Chris Paul helps, but how many games is he going to be out there? Devin Vassell's really good, but he's not enough to elevate. Wemby's offensive game is ridiculous at times, but it is also a little bit streaky. It's still raw, especially when you talk about the outside shots. Now, Chris Paul, I do think, will help with some of that, but it's not going to be enough. They just don't have enough talent. They're still developing the young guys. You give them a couple more years, like next season, if you told me they're in the playoffs, I'm not shocked at all. And maybe Wemby goes insane and they end up close to the play-in. But for them to make the play-in tournament, I think they have to make a mid-season move, and maybe that does happen and they get to that spot. But it's currently constructed, no, it's not going to happen. And Wemby making an All-NBA team honestly feels pretty likely. Speaking of Western Conference playoff seeding, Greg says that not a single California team out of the 4 is going to make it into the playoffs. Those 4 teams being the Clippers, the Lakers, the Kings, and the Warriors. If you watch, again, my season prediction video, I'm going to keep referencing it. I had the Warriors and Clippers outside of the play-in, and I had the Kings and Lakers at the 7 and 8 spots. So I do think 2 of those teams are going to make the playoffs. I think the Lakers will make it. I'm not going to bet against LeBron and AD, and I've liked the way that the JJ Redick system is looking. With the Kings, I do think DeRozan helps out, even if the bench is extremely weak, and I worry about the defense. With the Warriors, I already talked about them. Clippers, no Kawhi to start the season. It's going to be the Harden show, and he's very apt to go down. It feels like in his recent career, he just constantly gets injured. We don't know when Kawhi's even going to play. Lost Paul George. So yeah, I think it's likely that the Lakers and Kings make the playoffs. They're the 2 more likely teams out of the 4. But the Lakers, you know, they got a lot of help from LeBron and AD last year. If they deal with injuries, it's definitely not impossible. You've also got the Kings. Like, if that bench really is as weak as it seems, if the defense is struggling and the health really isn't there, they were a play-in team last year. I could see them being in a similar spot. And it only takes 1 or 2 losses if you're in the play-in to miss the playoffs entirely. So it might sound insane to think about none of those teams making it, but it's definitely not impossible. It's likelier than you might think. I am going to say at least 2 of those teams make it, and I do think it's the Lakers and the Kings. Next, I've got a bunch of standings predictions that I want to rapid fire. Starting off with Sam, I believe the Thunder will win 67 games this year. I'm not going to go that crazy. I do think the Thunder win 60 plus. I have them as the 1 seed in the Western Conference. This team is loaded with talent and a top 5 guy in Shea, but iHeart is supposed to miss the first month and a half or so. You also, I assume, will see some rest from Chet Holmgren. Winning 67 games is really, really difficult. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but I think the Thunder more so settle around like the low to mid 60s. Ye says that Pelicans will be a top 4 seed with Zion in All-NBA form. If Zion's really going crazy, maybe. I just think the roster construction is clunky. I hate the fact that they don't have a big, that Herb Jones is going to theoretically be the center for them. They're going to have to make a move. Now, if they make a good move throughout the season, maybe it's swapping Brandon Ingram for a big and the pieces click. They definitely do have a lot of top-end talent that could propel them up there, but they're going to need the health, and I just don't know if I trust it, especially with Zion, and he is going to have to be the guy to elevate them, so I don't think it happens, but it's not impossible. Versus the Pistons are going to make the finals. Like I said earlier to, what was it, Spurs Alien? Yeah, if the Spurs beat the Thunder in the first round of the playoffs too, let me know and I'll give them the channel. Same thing, the Pistons make the finals. You can also share the channel with Spurs Alien over there. Nas says that the Hornets are going to be a 6 or a 7 seed. Don't think they'll get that high, but if they're a playing team, not shocked. I really like this Hornets team the more that I'm looking at them. They're one of my potential shock teams of the season. LaMelo looks really good in the preseason if he can stay on the court. That's, of course, a question mark. Mark Williams, if they can get him back and he's healthy, same thing. Brandon Miller, think he has a lot in store for the league in year 2, has been looking great in preseason 2. Trey Mann popping off, could be an MIP candidate. Like the supporting pieces like a Josh Green and a Grant Williams. I still am thinking about making a Hornets video right before the season starts, so if you want to see that, let me know. Josh says the Mavs are going 74-8, not happening, but do think they'll be really good. Clint Capella FC says the Hawks are going to get 50 wins. Don't think so, but there is a world where they're better than last season because I think the defense will be better, and I'm expecting a Trae Young revenge season. I feel like Trae's become one of the most disrespected stars in the entire league in the entire time I've been watching basketball, so I hope Trae does come out and go crazy. crazy. I have them as a playing team, but 50 wins feels absurd. And finally, Duffalo says that Shaedon Sharpe, Donovan Clingan, Scoot Henderson, and Simons are going to lead the Blazers to the play-in tournament at a higher seed than the Clippers and Warriors. I would love to see them start to pop off. I was big on Scoot going to the draft. Wasn't a great rookie season. He's still got plenty of time to pan out, and I've been really excited by some of the stuff we saw in the preseason. Simons, if he can stay on the court, is going to be really good. Shaedon Sharpe, this could be a breakout year, but similar thing for him. He's got to stay healthy. The big man rotation is weird with Ayton and Clingan and Robert Williams. I don't know what's going on there. Jeremy Grant's still there. Denny Avdija. Like, they've got some interesting talent, and I think they'll be better than what you would expect from a bottom seed in the West, which is where I have them. But, like, they don't have an incentive to win. They want to get Cooper Flagg. There's no reason for them to go for the play-in tournament. I think they'll just deal guys away at the trade deadline. I think it'll be a fire sale, so they're not even going to go for that spot, and they definitely don't have the talent to get there. Then we've got Jay Weezy saying Bronny James Rookie of the Year. No. But I do want to say, I love what Bronny showed in the last game he played in the preseason. A lot of the rest of it was not pretty, but I'm rooting for Bronny James. There are a lot of people who have turned it into their whole thing to just hate him and want to see him fail. I'm rooting for him. I think it'll be a lot of year in the G League, but I do think eventually he'll become a solid NBA player. Then we've got one from NBA fan, says that the Bucks will be tier 1 contenders like the Celtics. Not going to say they are yet because they need to prove it, but believes that people are severely underestimating them and that they are eventually going to be on the same level as the Celtics. I do think the Bucks have been pretty much forgotten by a lot of people. I did not have them on my Eastern Conference Finals, but I did have them still as a top 3 seed. They've still got Giannis. I am banking on a Dame bounce back season. I think he's going to be really good. My concern is really everything else. Like, Chris Middleton had 2 ankle surgeries this offseason. That's not good. Brook Lopez is getting close to 40. I like the idea of a Taurean Prince and a Gary Trent Jr. on this team, and Bobby Portis is good, but are those supporting pieces enough to match up with the Knicks, who have one of the most talented starting fives we've seen in the East in a while? The Celtics were a juggernaut last season. The Sixers, if they can keep everybody on the court, they're really good. There are just so many good teams in the Eastern Conference. I'm banking on the Bucks doing a lot of stuff, but I feel like I need to see it in action, and specifically those surrounding pieces next to Dame and Giannis play alongside them to the level that I hope they can before I say anything about the Bucks being tier 1 contenders. Like, NBA fan did say that they're not quite saying it yet. I need to see in action. Plus, I just never trust a Doc Rivers-led team. I've seen too many squads led by him underperform. So yeah, that's kind of why I don't have them on the same tier as the Celtics. They've got the top end talent. I just don't think they have the depth and overall supporting pieces like some of those other top contenders in the NBA right now. And finally, there's a take from Greg who says that there's going to be a 50-plus win team that doesn't even make it into the play-in tournament. Now, that would be insane. Over in the Western Conference, that's where it's going to have to happen because there aren't good enough teams in the East to make that happen. I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, the Warriors were the 10 seed with 46 wins last year. The Grizzlies could be up back in those standings. The Rockets could be better. It would take the bottom of the Western Conference and really the bottom of the NBA as a whole to be disastrous. Like, the Blazers would have to win like 15 games, and the Spurs would really have to not live up to any expectations, and the Jazz would have to be really, really bad. Like, the Clippers would probably have to completely fall off a cliff to make it happen, or like the Warriors fall off, or one of those other teams in the Western Conference just gets really injured and they don't perform whatsoever. So I don't think there's going to be enough wins to mathematically go around, but if you told me the top 10 teams, like the bottom playing team had 50 wins, that wouldn't surprise me, especially like if you go up to 9 or an 8. I mean, last year the Pelicans were the 8th seed by virtue of the play-in, but even being up at the 7th spot before they lost the Lakers in the play-in game, they had 49 wins. The Lakers at the 8th spot originally had 47 wins. Suns had 49 at the 6th seed. It's definitely not impossible to see 9 or 10 teams in the West with 50 plus wins. That's how stacked the conference is. I don't know if there's going to be enough wins to go around. Ultimately, if I had to predict it, I would say the top 8 all at 50 plus, but getting to like 11, it would just take ridiculous incompetence at the bottom of the conference that I don't think is there. And those are all your takes for this video. Appreciate everyone who submitted one. I want to go ahead and wrap up here with a couple of my bold predictions, just so I'm getting involved a little bit, so you're not only roasting these takes, you can roast mine as well. These come from a bold prediction video I made like a month ago. First one, I think that Jokic and Luka will both average a triple-double this season. Luka, I think he's really going to try to get guys involved, specifically with Klay Thompson in town, and with Nikola Jokic. There's less help now with KCP. I think he's going to elevate his game. He's going to step up and just do a little bit more of everything. So give me both of them to average a triple-double, thereby doubling the amount of people that have done it in NBA history. And secondly, I think somebody scores 82 plus points in a game this season, passing Kobe for the second most in a game all time. It just feels like the numbers are going to continue to go up. We saw a couple of 70-point scores this past season. We saw a couple the year prior. It feels like 80 is only a matter of time away. It just takes that one game where suddenly a squad is going to like 2-3 overtimes and like Luka's going crazy or Embiid or you're someone who's putting up a million shots, and it feels very, very attainable from someone in the league at this point. I called the day that Donovan Mitchell did it that somebody was going to score 70 in the NBA throughout the rest of 2023. It happened that night. I'm going to call my shot again here and say that somebody scores 82 plus in a game this season. So there's a couple of my bold predictions, and yeah, that's all I've got for y'all in this video. I think I'm pretty much done making predictions going into the season, but let me know what you thought about the ones from me and everybody else in this video. Leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Like I said at the beginning, I believe, and I say in every video, it helps the channel out a ton. Comment down below some of your bold predictions, hot takes, things like that. Yeah, really excited for the season. Can't wait for it to start. I'm going to be here nonstop once the year is here. It's almost here, 2 days away. But once again, I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.